So let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind to fight Boots, you might as well do it now.
I'd compare it to this. Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels.
What about the Terence Bud Crawford fight? I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering them questions, And if a fight happened, it happened. I want it to happen, but if not, yeah.
Jaron Boots Ennis is done waiting and has officially called out Terence Crawford at 154. He wants to prove who truly runs the division and is ready to test Bud's resolve. As tensions rose, Eddie Hearn stepped in, asking, "Tell me a fight other than Crawford that you would really want to see Crawford in that is realistic." That line ignited the boxing world, framing Crawford versus Ennis as not just a fan desire but an inevitable clash. The timing, tone, and confidence suggested something could already be in motion. Now all eyes are on Crawford, as any silence could speak louder than words. But just as fans imagined the showdown, Crawford's response cooled the hype and shifted the narrative.
You consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight?
No. I ain't going down 154.
Crawford's response stopped the buzz in its tracks. The man everyone expected to dominate at 154 made it clear he's not moving back for Ennis. That statement flipped the narrative, leaving fans debating whether it was strategy or hesitation. Some argue he's protecting his legacy, others believe he's avoiding the one fighter young and hungry enough to truly test him. Either way, it added a whole new layer of drama to an already intense rivalry. And now, with Ennis calling him out louder than ever, the tension between the established star and the rising king has never been sharper. Even Crawford's coach, Bomax, stepped in, adding more fuel to the fire with his own tape.
He got our leftovers. Why would Bud want to go backwards? I wouldn't go backwards. Bud looking for bigger and better fights, so where he can etch his name in the concrete forever. I don't know, because I really don't look at none of the welterweights since we did clear the division out.
Bulmac didn't hold back defending his fighter, his tone speaking volumes. Crawford has already conquered every mountain worth climbing, and going back isn't part of the plan. But that statement only made the storyline more explosive. Was it confidence, or a sign that Team Crawford wants no part of the young lion waiting at 154? Fans saw it as both, and the boxing world erupted in debate. When a coach talks like that, something bigger is usually brewing behind closed doors. One thing's certain, this rivalry just got much deeper. Eddie Hearn was fired up. Crawford's refusal clearly didn't sit well, and his reaction said it all.
Boots is the best welterweight in the world. I mean, tell me a better welterweight than Boots Ennis. Impossible. There isn't one. So, he's the best welterweight in the world. I mean, we just finished a FaceTime with His Excellency, who asked me, will we make the Crawford fight?
You could hear the anger and disbelief in Hearn's voice. He called it ridiculous that Crawford would turn down a fight against someone as talented and hungry as Jaron Boots Ennis. To Hearn, Boots isn't just another rising name. He's the best fighter in the world right now, the one who deserves that spotlight. His tone wasn't just frustration, it was a challenge, almost daring Crawford to prove otherwise. The message was loud and clear: greatness doesn't avoid danger, it faces it head-on. With that, Hearn reignited the fire, pushing this potential showdown back into the center of the boxing world. Eddie's frustration didn't stop there. He went further, breaking down exactly why Crawford's decision made no sense. Hearn started with what he believes everyone already knows: Crawford's past opponents just weren't the same fighters they once were. He stated, a lot of those guys that Crawford fought, unfortunately for him, were past their best. Even though I rate him as a generational talent, I think he's unbelievable. There was no hate in his words, just honesty. Hearn admitted Crawford is a generational fighter but made a key point: timing matters. Many of the names on Crawford's resume were already on the decline when they faced him. It wasn't disrespect, it was truth. And it set the perfect stage for the next name he brought up, Jaron Boots Ennis. That's when Hearn turned his focus straight to Boots, and his words made it clear he believes the future has already arrived. He stated the difference is Boots isn't at the back end of his career. He isn't coming off eye surgery, a terrible car crash like Errol Spence, or carrying 80 fights on his record. Canelo is a veteran of 68 professional contests. Hearn's tone sharpened, filled with conviction. To him, Boots represents everything Crawford's last few opponents weren't: young, fast, and untouched by age or damage. No excuses, no fatigue, just raw skill and hunger. This wasn't a comparison, it was a challenge. Hearn was saying this is the fight that proves who's truly the best, and as he spoke, it was clear he wasn't just promoting. He genuinely believed Boots Ennis is the future Crawford has been avoiding for too long. Yet, Hearn didn't turn it into pure criticism. He balanced it with respect, showing his frustration came from admiration, not hate. He said, "It's not Crawford's fault. He would have fought them all, and he probably would have beaten them all. Crawford is a generational great." That line softened the edge, but only briefly. Beneath the praise was a challenge. If you're truly that great, why say no to Boots? That's what Hearn couldn't get past. His respect for Crawford only made his disbelief stronger because, in his eyes, legends don't turn down challenges, they define them. Finally, Hearn added a dose of business realism, hinting the story is far from over. He said Crawford has earned the right to fight anyone he wants and will only step back in the ring for a significant payday. "We've got to do a lot on our side to make that fight as lucrative as it needs to be," he added. Even in frustration, Hearn stayed focused. He knows Crawford has the power to choose, but he also knows every fighter has a price. His words suggested Team Ennis is already preparing to make this fight happen, whatever it takes. There was strategy in his tone, not surrender. For Hearn, this isn't just another payday, it's a fight that defines eras. He's determined to make it real. The fire in his voice made one thing clear: the world might finally get the clash it's been waiting for, and just as the noise around Eddie Hearn's comments began to cool, Jaron Boots Ennis himself stepped in, calm, confident, and brutally honest.
Yeah. I want to do it. Do you respect him as, like, when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so...
I understand it, but don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called, and we said you never heard nothing else back about it. So like,
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, but don't be capping on the net.
Ennis didn't hold back. He made it clear he's ready for Crawford anytime, at any weight, but it's Crawford who isn't ready for him. Still, he spoke with respect, acknowledging Crawford's greatness while calling out the excuses surrounding the fight. His tone wasn't angry, it was steady, like a man who knows his moment is coming. When he said Crawford shouldn't act like he has other options, you could feel the shift. He wasn't begging for the fight, he was daring Crawford to face him. And with his final line, "Fine, go get your money," Ennis sent a message that echoed through the boxing world. He's not chasing, he's waiting at the top of the hill. Then a new voice entered the conversation, Coach Breadman Edwards, stepping in with his own take on the Crawford situation.
And then when he do it, people move the goalposts. So I don't even want to get into no Boots and Crawford talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got into Crawford and Floyd, and Crawford and Floyd is the same years apart as Boots and Wichicombe. Nobody ever tried to make them fight. So I don't want to get into that because I don't really know if it's possible for them to fight.
Breadman didn't jump into the hype. Instead, he pumped the brakes. His tone was calm but firm, reminding everyone that not every dream fight is realistic. He made a comparison that gave people pause. Sometimes generations in boxing just don't align. It wasn't about fear or avoidance, it was about timing and perspective. Breadman suggested that forcing the matchup too soon could spoil what might one day be an iconic showdown. His words carried weight, not because they were loud, but because they came from a man who truly understands how boxing works. He went further, offering a deeper look into why Crawford versus Ennis might not happen just yet.
But he didn't, and nobody cared. It wasn't like it was a duck. It wasn't a duck. It was like they kind of different eras, even though they fighting at the same time. So I don't really know if it's possible because Boots will have to leave 54, and it's a bunch of work at 54. Crawford will have to come down from 68 and clear out 68, which ain't no guarantee. You know what I mean? It's like too much room. We got to see some more things happen.
He broke it down logically, highlighting how both fighters are at very different stages of their careers. Crawford is focused on conquering higher divisions, while Ennis is still carving his path at 154. Breadman's tone wasn't defensive, it was realistic. He reminded fans that boxing runs on timing, not fantasy matchups. There's still work to be done on both sides before that dream fight makes sense. His perspective added a new layer to the story, balancing the excitement with the patience the sport sometimes demands. It wasn't a no, it was a not yet. And just as the debate split between timing and legacy, Max Kellerman stepped in, flipping the energy completely with his take.
If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind to fight Boots, you might as well do it now. What did Floyd Mayweather do with Canelo Alvarez? Now Canelo was already an enormous draw, and that's the difference. But he didn't wait till he got super old, and Canelo entered his prime. He got him.
Kellerman didn't talk about waiting or avoiding. With his usual sharp delivery, he made it clear that now is the perfect moment for Crawford and Ennis to collide. His argument brought back the excitement fans had been craving, two fighters at the top of their powers in a bout that could define an era. He spoke with conviction, like a man who's seen too many what-ifs fade away in boxing history. Kellerman's take reignited hope that the stars are finally aligning. It wasn't just analysis, it felt like a call to action. Then came former world champion Shawn Porter, a man who shared the ring with Crawford, and his words carried the weight of experience.
We don't know because Terence is just
somebody getting stopped.
I don't know. That this fight right here, if this fight were to happen this year, it will go down in history as one of the classic fights that go with the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, that go with the Ray Leonard and
Porter spoke with genuine awe, imagining what a clash between Crawford and Ennis could mean for boxing. His tone wasn't about prediction, it was about legacy. You could hear the respect in his voice as he compared it to the legendary battles of past eras. In his framing, this wouldn't just be another big fight, it would be one fans talk about for decades. Porter's perspective gave the matchup a sense of history and destiny, as if it were already written among the sport's greatest rivalries. It was admiration mixed with excitement, the kind only a fighter who's been there can convey. And as Porter continued, his tone shifted from admiration to something deeper, a pure understanding of what makes both men so dangerous.
To fight because you got two alpha males in the ring that are true alpha males, you know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just,
that dude, like, it was like, the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't, and it was like, damn, okay. Well then,
he described the matchup not just as two boxers colliding, but as two alpha males entering the same space, both refusing to yield. Porter's insight carried weight because he's lived that reality, he's felt Crawford's presence inside the ropes. His words painted a picture of a mental and physical war, where neither man is willing to step back. It wasn't just about punches, it was about pride, control, and dominance. You could tell Porter understood exactly how intense that fight would be. It's the kind of raw energy that turns a matchup into a moment, and a moment into history. Then came a take blending sports insight with pure boxing IQ. Sean Zittle's creative comparison instantly grabbed everyone's attention.
Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels, you might actually think Vince Carter is better. You might think Vince Carter is even better.
Zittle broke down the Crawford versus Ennis debate in a way no one expected, using basketball legends to illustrate the point. His analogy perfectly highlighted the generational gap, the young, explosive energy of Ennis versus the refined greatness of Crawford. It wasn't just clever, it captured how fans see both fighters right now, the flash and flare of Ennis against Crawford's polished dominance. Zittle's tone was playful yet insightful, suggesting that greatness isn't just about highlight reels, it's about legacy, control, and longevity at the top. The comparison left fans thinking they might be witnessing history repeat itself, just with gloves instead of sneakers. Then came Tim Bradley, never afraid to speak his mind, with a strong warning for anyone getting carried away by the Ennis hype.
Come on, Sean. I respect Ennis. Listen, I respect Ennis. I love his pops. His pops is cool. His whole crew is tight. You know what I mean? Like, but who the hell is Spence as Boots fought? It's a different type. Like, you can be riding that wave. You can get all these knockouts of all these other different guys, but you've never been in the ring with an animal like Crawford. And when you get in there for the first time and you get hit upside your head and you see that you can't do the stuff that you usually do against the guys that you fought, you know, at the lower level, bro.
Bradley's tone was sharp, almost like a wake-up call to the fans. He made it clear that while he respects Ennis and his talent, Crawford is a different kind of beast. According to him, stepping into the ring with Bud isn't like facing anyone Ennis has fought before, it's a whole new level of danger. Bradley's words carried the authority of someone who's been there and knows what elite competition feels like. He wasn't trying to tear anyone down, but to remind everyone that highlight reels and real fights are very different. His message was simple: the ring will tell the truth. As he continued, his tone shifted from fiery to cautious, like a mentor who doesn't want to see potential wasted.
I would hate for him to get in this type of fight with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I would hate for him to get in this fight and look average. Look average. Because if you go back and you watch a lot of and he's a spectacular fighter. Boots is a spectacular fighter. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Boots. I think he's next. But he needs to be tested. He needs to be tested with a legit.
He spoke with genuine concern for Ennis's career, saying he doesn't want the young star to rush into a fight that could make him look ordinary too soon. Bradley's words showed both respect and experience. He's a fan of Ennis, but he also understands timing. To him, Ennis is special, but he still needs a true test before stepping into the fire with Crawford. It wasn't criticism, it was tough love from a fighter who's seen how quickly hype can fade in boxing. His message echoed through the debate: talent is one thing, but proving it against the very best is another story entirely. At the end of it all, one thing is clear: Jaron Boots Ennis versus Terence "Bud" Crawford isn't just another fight discussion. It's a battle between generations, youth versus legacy, the future versus the present. Every voice, from Eddie Hearn's frustration to Crawford's silence, from Porter's respect to Bradley's caution, adds fuel to a fire that's hard to ignore. The boxing world feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for the moment both men finally settle it inside the ring. But what do you think? Is Crawford protecting his legacy, or is he just being smart about timing? Is Ennis really ready to take on one of the best ever? Could this fight live up to the hype, or could it change the future of boxing forever? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more debates, reactions, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world of boxing.